What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Julia, and today we are doing a 15 questions rapid fire Q&A. I posted a question box on my Instagram story the other day, like fully intending to just answer as many as I could on my actual Instagram stories, but you guys sent in the best questions like of all time. Like you guys asked some really good questions, but this time in particular was like out of this world, okay? Every single question I could have given like a 5-minute answer to. So I picked my 15 favorite and we're gonna run through them rapid fire because honestly, this is like very valuable information and I feel like I need a place where all of these questions can stay and you guys can always come back and reference them if you'd like. All right, jumping right into things. Question 1 says, what is the most effective way to lose weight? The only way to lose weight is by being in a calorie deficit, meaning you are burning or expending more calories each day than you are consuming or eating. It's a very simple energy imbalance that you want. Calories in are less than calories out. So if you want to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. If you want to gain weight, you need to be in a calorie surplus. If you want to maintain your weight, you need to be eating around maintenance. It is as simple as that. Don't make it harder than it has to be, but yes, the most effective and only way to lose weight is by being in a calorie deficit. And going right off of that, this next question actually came in right after I answered that one on my story. It says, I burn 700 calories a day, so to be in a calorie deficit, would I need to eat less than that? And no, please do not think that the active calories on your Apple Watch are your total calories expended. Like that couldn't be farther from the truth. When I'm talking about total calorie expenditure, there is so much that goes into it. 4 things actually. So your basal metabolic rate, your BMR, these are the calories your body burns just at rest, keeping you alive as a human being. Your thermic effect of food, the calories your body burns as you're eating, consuming, digesting food. Your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. These are the calories your body burns just doing little things here and there, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, walking to and from the parking lot to the grocery store, parking lot to the gym, like little bits of movement throughout the day that aren't like an actual workout. And then 4th and finally, your actual workout, the calories your body burns when you're doing your actual deliberate exercise for the day. So don't just think that you finish your workout and your Apple Watch has 500 active calories burned. That is not your total calorie expenditure at all, not in the slightest. So don't think that you need to be eating less than your active calories burned. And also watches, fitness trackers, calorie trackers, like they can be so inaccurate. So please don't think that they are the end all and be all. Go through some trial and error, experiment with your food consumption and see what works best for you and gives you the results you're going for. But yes, the only way to lose weight is by being in a calorie deficit, and it is a total overall calorie deficit, not just a deficit from your active calories. All right, question 3 says, can we achieve weight loss goals without lifting super heavy weights? Hopefully you guys know the answer by now. Yes, as long as you're in a calorie deficit, you can achieve your weight loss goals without lifting super heavy. You don't even have to lift weights, honestly, if you want to lose weight. The only thing that matters is if you are in a calorie deficit. You could lift all the weight in the world, super heavy weights, and if you're not in a calorie deficit, you will not lose weight. So don't think that you can't get started on your weight loss goals because you don't have access to a fancy gym or all the heaviest weights. Like you don't need that. You can literally start with nothing. You don't even have to work out if you have weight loss goals. Like yes, of course it helps and it can definitely help you get you to your goals faster, but you could literally just walk and decrease your calorie consumption. So don't think that you need super heavy weights. Definitely not a necessity. Question 4 says, when is your next program releasing on your app? I am loving it, by the way. First of all, I am so obsessed with my app and I love that you guys are loving it just as much as I am. And my next program, which is Build, the program that helped me grow, lift, shape my glutes almost 2 inches bigger within an 8-week span, is going up on my app this Sunday, November 5th. So I've actually broken it up into 2 different 4-week programs just to kind of help people stay accountable, get through the holidays, and like keep them motivated. So the first 4 weeks are going up this Sunday, which is the first full Sunday of November. I didn't want to launch on the 1st just because November 1st is a Wednesday. That's weird. My split starts on a Monday. So the first 4 weeks go up this Sunday, and then the next 4 weeks go up the first Sunday of December. And I cannot wait for you guys to get started on Build. And like I said, I'm just so happy that you guys are loving my app just as much as I do. I'll link it down below in case anyone hasn't heard of it or wants to get started. You can do a free 7-day trial. So start that trial now. You can get a little comfortable with the app, get familiar with it, and then the program goes up on Sunday and we can all start together on Monday. Question 5 says, best training split for fat loss / trying to lose weight while maintain and hold on to muscle mass. I love this. This is literally what my training revolves around. And I could totally like lie to you guys and say my training split is the best. While yes, that is completely true for me. I am obsessed with my training split. It has gotten me such incredible, lasting, sustainable results. And I thoroughly just enjoy my workouts every single day. It's the best for me, but that may not be the case for you. You could hate my training split. You could be miserable doing it. So at the end of the day, the best training split is gonna be the one that you can stay most consistent with and that you enjoy. Because consistency is honestly the hardest piece for a lot of people. Like anyone can go to one workout, anyone can eat healthy for one day, but the hard part is showing up every single day, and having a training split that you thoroughly enjoy makes it so much easier to stick with it. So while I love my training split of 4 lifts a week and some walking, it's gotten me such great results and it's so easy to maintain these great results, someone else doing it may hate it and they may not stay consistent with it at all because they don't enjoy it. So it wouldn't be the best training split for them. So you gotta find what works best for you, and that helps you achieve your goals. If you have very similar goals to me, maybe try my training split, try my workouts, try my app programs. You could love it. It could work so incredibly well for you, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say that mine is the best, mine is the end all and be all, because that's just not the case for everyone. But when I am personally focusing on fat loss while maintaining muscle mass, there are a few things that I try to prioritize within my training and also my diet. So one thing is that I really prioritize strength training because, like she said, she wants to hold on to that muscle mass, which is incredible because the more muscle you have in your body, the more calories your body burns at rest. Muscle is basically a fat burning machine, so it's just gonna help you along the way, honestly. So focusing on strength training, focusing on your protein intake so that you can maintain that muscle mass. Also, I love adding in some low intensity steady state cardio. It's an easy, enjoyable way to burn some extra calories, and it just kind of helps promote that fat loss along with the strength training. And then honestly, rest and recovery plays such a huge role in my progress. Might not be the case for everyone, but I really need to prioritize my rest and recovery in order to actually see results. So those are the things I would focus on if I were doing some trial and error and trying different training splits for myself. But of course, I love my own, but find what works for you. Question 6, how often do you take a deload week and how do you know when to take them? So I actually kind of force myself to take a deload week every 12 weeks, and I'm all about listening to my body. I say force because ever since switching to my current training split over a year ago now at this point, which is Monday legs, hamstring and glute focused, Tuesday push with a little bit of LISS, low intensity steady state cardio, Wednesday active recovery, Thursday legs again, but quad and glute focused, Friday pull, back and biceps with a little bit of LISS as well. Saturday is active recovery day and Sunday is a full rest day. Ever since switching to that, I truly have like never once felt burnt out. I've never been like too tired or like unmotivated to train. Like I honestly get so excited to jump back into that next week of training, but I do force myself to take a deload week every 12 weeks just because I know it's probably best for me, and I feel like that also helps prevent ever feeling burnt out or unmotivated or super sore. Like I honestly just feel incredible, and when it comes to my clients, I always suggest to them every 8 to 12 weeks take a deload week. And as they train more and more, they kind of learn how to better listen to their body, and sometimes they reach out to me and they're like, hey, I need a deload week this week. And honestly, when they send me those texts, I am so incredibly proud of them because it shows me that they are really learning to listen to their body, and they're not just like forcing themselves to do something when they're just not in the right place for it. And they end up coming back that next week feeling incredible, like lifting super heavy. So it really does take some time, trial and error, to find what works best for your body, to find how your body responds to different things. But my rule of thumb for myself is every 12 weeks, and for clients every 8 to 12, just depending on how you feel. Question 7 says, how to stick to my goals and not fall back into bad habits. My answer for this one is discipline. Also make sure that your goals are meaningful to you and that you actually want to achieve them, because if they're meaningful and you really want to achieve them, you shouldn't let anything stand in your way. But above all, discipline is going to get you there, okay? Discipline will take you farther than any kind of motivation. No one wakes up every single day of their life super motivated to crush their workouts, crush all their work, like go after every single goal they have. Like, yeah, that may be how I feel like 99% of the time, but that other 1% of the time, maybe I'm not so motivated to get all my work done. Maybe I'm not so motivated to run all the errands I have to run. Like, let's be honest, I love working out, I love walking. I'm pretty much always down to do those things. But there are days where I look at all the work I have and I'm like, I really don't even want to get into that. So we all know the feeling, but once you develop discipline, it makes working towards your goals, achieving your goals so much easier. And discipline honestly gives you so much freedom. I feel like people look at discipline and think it's like this negative, harsh, cruel thing, when in reality, it is probably the greatest trait you could develop for yourself. And if you don't have discipline right now, don't worry. It's something that you can work towards and build and strengthen. It's just like a muscle. You need to practice it daily in order to perfect that discipline. And I'm pretty much at a point in my life where I don't even have to think twice about walking, working out, getting into my work day. Like, it's just my day. It's just my schedule. Like, I know that I wake up, I have my breakfast, I go on a walk, I get my lift done, then I get into my work day. Like, it's just such a routine for me because I'm so disciplined to stay within my routine. And like I said, it gives me so much freedom because once I'm done that stuff, I can work on whatever I want to work on. I can tackle whatever goal I have next, or I can just chill if I want to, but I can chill with the satisfaction of knowing that I did everything that I was supposed to do that day to get me to where I want to be. So hopefully that made sense, and hopefully you guys understand the importance of discipline, because it really opens up a lot of doors and makes working towards those goals so much more doable. Question 8 says, do you track macros or what's your food intake like? I haven't tracked macros in well over a year now, and I love it because, let's be honest, tracking is tedious, time consuming, and annoying, especially if you're like eating out and I go over to my grandparents and eat with them. We try new restaurants. Like, I love food. I don't want to be sitting there tracking, weighing, measuring everything that I'm eating, especially if it's not necessary. And I'm at a point where it is not necessary at all, and I eat super intuitively, but it's like a very educated, intuitive eating because I am so well informed on nutrition and food, and I've gone through so much trial and error to find what works best for me. I have a really good understanding of what different foods are made up of, what foods help me feel my best, what foods help give me the most energy, what my body prefers pre-workout versus post-workout. I know what my maintenance calories feel like, what my deficit calories and surplus calories feel like. I know how to go about a reverse diet. Like, I am very well informed and educated on all of this, and I have gone through so much trial and error that tracking just isn't necessary. And I'm pretty much at a point where I'm eating whatever I want, whenever I want, because the foods I'm eating are foods that make me feel good. And if I eat like crap all day long, I feel like crap. So I prefer eating good foods all day long because it helps me feel really dang good. And I'd say my diet has a great balance. Like the 80-20 rule, that is my diet to a T. Like 80% of what I eat comes from whole natural foods. The other 20%, not so whole natural foods. I literally eat a Trader Joe's Sublime ice cream cookie sandwich every single night of my life. It's all about balance, and honestly, I love it. So no, I don't track. I eat super intuitively, but it's an educated intuitive, and I just have a really good understanding of what works for me, and I'm very informed, which I suggest everyone gets informed and learn about what works best for you. Learn about the food you're consuming, learn about different macronutrients and just everything, okay? I have tons of information within my nutrition guide and also within the Nutrition 101 section on my app. I'll have those linked down below if I haven't said that already. Question 9 says, how long did it take you to get a six-pack, and how many weeks of doing CUT will it take me to get a six-pack? If you didn't know, CUT is my 12-week training program. I launched it back in April, over 6 months ago now at this point. It is an instant PDF download, like it's a document and it follows the exact 12 weeks of workouts that I did throughout my 12-week cut phase last August, September, October. And since then, I have launched my app. I launched it about 3 weeks ago, and it is incredible. So all my workouts, training programs, nutrition education, recipes, all that jazz moving forward will be on my app. If you have my app, you know how user-friendly it is. It's just the best technology, okay? So hence why everything moving forward will be on my app. But if you want Cut, I will link it down below, and it's just a document PDF download. But by just doing Cut, it will not guarantee that you have a six-pack, okay? It won't even guarantee weight loss unless you are in a calorie deficit. We are also incredibly different. We could eat the exact same way, train the exact same way, and still look so incredibly different. And that's awesome. And we are all born with abdominal muscles, okay? Everyone has abs. It's your level of leanness and like your body composition, the ratio of muscle to fat, that determines how visible those abs are. And the level of leanness that you need to achieve to have visible abs is also different from person to person, because everyone stores fat in different places. And please don't compare yourselves to me, because I've had a six-pack since I was 5 years old, because I was a competitive gymnast from age 5 to 22. And yes, there were times in my life where that six-pack wasn't as visible because I had a little bit more body fat, but I've pretty much had a six-pack since I was 5. So it just comes down to your level of leanness, where you store body fat. I know some people who have the leanest, most shredded stomachs ever, and then they store more of their fat in their hips or their legs, or vice versa. Like, everyone is so incredibly different. And by just doing Cut, it's not gonna guarantee that you have a six-pack. You need to make sure that you're eating in a calorie deficit. If your goal is weight loss, specifically fat loss, you need to make sure you're prioritizing your protein intake, strength training. Like, there is so much that goes into it, and it is pretty darn simple, but just doing the program won't guarantee the six-pack. I kind of already touched on this one, but question 10, it says, do you worry about calories or mostly the quality of food? So like I said, I don't track, so I don't have like an exact number of calories that I aim for each day, but I'm such a creature of habit. I'm always eating the same foods. If I'm going into a deficit, I cut back on my portions a little bit. If I'm going into a surplus, I increase my portions a little bit. If I'm reverse dieting, I slowly increase those portion sizes over time, just because that's kind of my way of messing with those calories to help support whatever goal I have at the time, because I don't want to actually track. So I just play around with my portions. It's just what works best for me. It's easier in my mind, and it's 10 times more enjoyable. So I don't really like worry or stress about calories. It's not even something I think about at all, especially when I'm just like chilling at maintenance like I have been for the past few months. But quality definitely matters. Like I mentioned earlier, if I eat like crap all day long, I tend to feel like crap. And sometimes I even feel like crap into that next day. If I eat great all day long, I feel great. So quality is something that really matters when it comes to food. And if I'm somewhere where I can't really control the quality of food, or if I'm eating out, I try to just make the best decision I could possibly make and choose the foods that I know will help me feel the best I could possibly feel in that moment. Question 11 says, will Cut give me better results, or the app? I'm trying to lose weight and tone up. I feel like you guys could answer this one by now based off how I've answered the rest of these questions. So I'm gonna try to keep this quick. At the end of the day, whatever you can stay most consistent with is what's gonna give you the best results. But remember, training is only one piece of the puzzle. You need to make sure that your sleep, your recovery, your nutrition also aligns with whatever goals you have. If those things all align, it's gonna be a heck of a lot easier and faster to achieve those goals. But when talking about the training differences between Cut and my app, the workouts are incredibly similar. Both Cut and my app follow my exact workouts, my exact training split. So if you have Cut and you have my app, you may notice the workouts are very similar. That's because I still train the exact same way. The main difference is Cut is a PDF document. It's not the most user-friendly because it's a PDF, and it's only 12 weeks. My app goes on forever because it's subscription-based. I am constantly adding to it. Like, literally, I add something almost every single day. I add my daily lifts, I add programs, I have recipes, I have nutrition education, I have grocery list inspo. There's a community feature where you can chat with other girls using my app. You can also DM me directly. Like, you can enter in your weights when you're lifting. You have a video playing of me doing each exercise as you're on that exercise. You can keep track of all your progress. Like, I probably sound like such a broken record, but it is just incredible. So that's the main difference. You'll see a lot of very similar workouts between Cut and my app. My app just goes on forever. Cut is done after 12 weeks. Yes, you could repeat it if you want, or you could do Cut and then go to my app. Like, it is totally up to you and what you can stay most consistent with. And that is what will get you the best results. But if we're just talking workouts, they are incredibly similar because it's all my workouts. Question 12 says, does your nutrition guide help with calculating macros in each phase? So my nutrition guide, and then also the Nutrition 101 section of my app. Sorry, this is probably so confusing. I launched Cut in my nutrition guide months ago, and I had no idea that I'd be able to have my own app. So that's kind of why there's kind of two of things, but you can find the information in either place. Like I mentioned 1,000 times, they're both linked down below. But I do talk about how I find maintenance calories, deficit calories, surplus calories, how I go about reverse dieting. And it's really not a calculation for me. I mean, when it comes to like the deficit and the surplus and reverse dieting, those are more so a calculation because I talk about subtracting or adding a certain amount of calories. But when it comes to finding maintenance, I do not like any of the calculators you find online. I don't even like the calculations you find online because I feel like they always are so much lower than what my true maintenance really is. So I share my technique for finding maintenance calories, and then once again, how I go about deficit, surplus, reverse dieting, and also how I help my clients with all that. I use the exact same method for me as I do for them. But when it comes to actual macro breakdowns, I don't really go into depth about that just because that's something that is so individualized and so different from person to person. So for example, my body thrives on an extremely high carb diet, and some of my clients' bodies are completely different. Like, when you give them a high carb diet, their bodies do not like it one bit and they feel like crap. Like, we're all so different. Different macro splits and breakdowns work differently for different people. So I always tell people to experiment with that and go through some trial and error to find what works best for them. Question 13 says, thoughts on Pilates and functional movement. I'm assuming this means like Pilates classes, functional movement classes like F45. And my thoughts are, if you love them, if they help you achieve your goals, if you can stay consistent with them, that is awesome. Like I said, you gotta find what works best for you. I personally prefer lifting and walking, and yes, I've done Pilates classes before, maybe one every 6 months to a year. And yes, they're humbling, they're hard. They're just not my preferred training style. And when it comes to functional training, I was an F45 coach for 3 years. Loved coaching classes, loved taking them from time to time, but I just found that it's not the best training style for me. It didn't really get me the results I was going for. But it is something that a lot of people can stay consistent with because they love the community, they love the people, they love the coaches, they love that they don't have to think going into class. And I love that. Like, if that is your movement, if that's what gets you to the gym, go for it. Like, I love that. It really just comes down to whatever works for you and personal preference. Pilates, functional movement, they're great. Any form of movement is amazing. But when it comes to me and like my cup of tea and my preference, it's lifting and walking. That's just what makes me feel my best. That's what helps me achieve my goals. And that's also what helps me look my best. And I'm sorry if that's very vain to say, but I like looking good, you know, look good, feel good. Question 14 says, how do you manage minor injuries you get while training? So knock on some wood. I don't really get minor injuries, and I love that about my training style, and I think it's because I lift very moderate weights. My workouts are still super hard for me and very challenging because they're very high volume and I manipulate my rest periods. That way the workouts are still hard even though I'm lifting moderate weights. Like, it's not like I'm lifting the weight I would lift if I were training for max strength or lifting my 1 rep max, okay? Like, the weight is very manageable and doable. I just make it harder by making it high volume, shortening my rest periods, hopefully you guys get the point. But I do think that helps me stay pretty injury free. But with that being said, if I do feel like something just doesn't feel right, maybe I'm starting to strain something or just a little bit off in the slightest way, I just give my body rest, okay? My number one tip is to be smart with it. I'm personally not training for anything, you know, I'm training for life and longevity. I'm not gonna be stupid and end up hurting myself more. So if I do feel something a little bit off, I just rest. It's not the end of the day. I can get right back into it once I'm feeling 100%, but I don't wanna make things worse than they already are if there's a minor injury. So hopefully that made sense. And last but not least, question 15 says, how do you know all this information about nutrition and fitness? If you didn't know, I am a National Academy of Sports Medicine certified personal trainer. I have been a certified personal trainer since the fall of 2019. It was actually my senior year of college. I was also a Division I collegiate gymnast, so I learned a lot about health and fitness throughout my 4 years of being a collegiate athlete. And I minored in nutrition and food studies, but my focus was within sports nutrition. I had a sports nutrition internship and like a sports nutrition work study type thing. So I learned a lot of this in college, and then since college, like I said, I've been a certified personal trainer ever since the fall of my senior year. And if you are a certified personal trainer, in order to stay certified, you have to recertify every 2 years. And in order to recertify, you have to complete a certain amount of continuing education units. So I pretty much have just never stopped learning because I'm always taking continuing ed courses so that I can build up enough units to recertify every 2 years. So lots of education, lots of knowledge up here, and it's all just kind of come from years of working in the field and also my time in college. And I know I said this was gonna be rapid fire and I chatted for way too long for each of these questions, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any other questions, just comment them down below. I love getting back to my comments, so I'd be happy to answer some questions in the comments as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give this video a like, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you all next time. Bye.